next is going to be what? Priyanka land, like Zonda land, and it'll be Priyanka, powering South Asian characters. Why not?
Yes, why not? My company stands for it. Purple Pebble Pictures, even in India, when I first started the company, I didn't go with doing mainstream big Bollywood
Yeah,
movies. I started with regional films because I really
Marathi
believed
style.
Marathi, Assamese, Sikkimese,
Yeah.
Bhojpuri, Punjabi. So I've always been sort of lateral in the way I think, because it was for me, again, at that time, this is like 7 or 8 years ago, for me, it was creating opportunity where, support wasn't given in a big way. And I wanted to be able to do that. And then when I went to America and started working there, it's the same funda of my company, is
Yeah.
to be able to do that. And that's always sort of been my quest, because I didn't have it, when I joined the film industry, there or here. I didn't see, casting for South Asians, or casting for somebody outside who comes in and says, I want to act. So it was always like a struggle, and I've always tried to, in my own small way, make it a little bit easier. So I don't know. Shonda is obviously a much huge talent to compare myself with. I'm at a much smaller scale, but the direction, I think, is something I align with her on.
So where are we at this moment in global entertainment and in the world in general?
I mean, that's a really large question. That can
No.
be a discussion, but I let me just start with saying I'm not an expert on global relations, but I think it's a terrifying time for us as a world, because this pandemic has affected all of us, and so many of us adversely. It has shown the effects of the socio-economic divide that we were aware of, but it sort of brought it into the fore of the people that have and the have-nots of the world. So I think we have a lot of healing to do as a human, as a world, and I think even and in India, in America, I mean, the two countries that I at least straddle, I think we need to work towards sort of creating a oneness and a togetherness, instead of focusing on what we don't have and the anger, because it's a really tough time, and it's a really tough time for everyone. And the only way to sort of get over what 2020 was and what 2021 is looking like, which is again like sort of scary and temperamental, I think we just really need to focus on coming together. And we saw that in 2020 while the pandemic was happening. We saw so many people, communities sort of coming together to help each other, people who have access and privilege coming together to sort of help the community. And that was such a wonderful thing to see. I consider myself a humanitarian. I'm very apolitical. So I want to be able to see the world going in that direction, and not from a utopian place, but
Right.
really from a truthful place.
So, do you think the White Tigers come at the right time? It talks about issues that the world really has experienced firsthand. It talks about inequality, lack of dignity. Those are things that people really were really out there in during the pandemic. So, is it at the right time?
Absolutely. It absolutely is. I mean, it's at the right time for being made. I think that, it is, authors generally in history of great countries, if you see, novelists have always had this like really difficult task of using their material for self-reflection of difficult subjects. And novelists have always managed to do that.
Yeah.
And I think Arvind Adiga did it so beautifully in this novel. It was a turn of the century. It was at that time in India when, we were like on our way to becoming an economic superpower. And it was like a really interesting time, which is why the reflection of the book is so acutely relevant right now, not just for India, but for the whole world, because of the fact that the pandemic has brought this subject up to the fore, and the division is so apparent. And I think it's come at a great time where we have to really think about how desensitized we are to the world, and what respect means and what equality means. And I am not a head of state. I'm not someone who's a lawmaker. I can't change things, but I can have a point of view as a filmmaker, and I can use my abilities as a filmmaker to be able to push conversation, because I believe conversation creates change. So that is my reason for really running after this movie. I really chased it,
Yeah.
to want
Talk a
to.
little talk a little about that process if you can, please. How
I
did it
actually
actually come to be made?
Ramin Birani, who's the
Yeah.
director of the movie, the book is dedicated to him.
Yes, yes.
Him and Arvind Adiga were college friends, and Ramin had
Columbia.
read, yeah,
Yeah.
Columbia. And Ramin had read like the manuscript from him before the book even came out, etc. So I had read the book when it came out in 2008, probably with The World, and I was very moved by it. And just like everyone else, I felt very uncomfortable, but yet I was very entertained, and all of those feelings. I actually read it on Twitter,
Mhm.
on Deadline or Hollywood Reporter, one of the
Right.
trade magazines. I read a lot of the trade magazines. And I read that Ramin was adapting it for Netflix. And I remember I called my agents immediately and I said, let's call them, tell Ramin I would love if he would take a meeting with me. I want to offer my services as an executive producer. At that time, I wasn't sure what Pinky's part was because in the novel, Pinky's role is from, it's very voyeuristic from the perspective of Balram. She's not really a real person.
Mm.
So I actually met Ramin to offer my services as an EP, and then he talked to me about Pinky's role, and I was like, yes, only because I wanted a really immersive experience. In India, I've done so many different roles, so much variety of work. But America, my career as an actor is still very nascent. I've just done, few things and I'm still building. And you have to start from the bottom, to walk up again. So this is one of my first forays as an actor as well into dramatic parts in America. People here have not really seen me do the work that, my people who've been exposed to my Hindi movies have. So I'm on a quest to be able to do work like that. And I auditioned with Ramin. I met him. I did 3 readings with him. I met him in Mumbai. I met him in New York. I met him in LA. He came to my house. We did a reading. He recorded it. And then I got the job, thankfully. But I really chased him.
Great, because Pinky is a very powerful way of. I mean, she's an outsider, so she can actually tell you exactly, what's going on. And there's a lovely quote. The door was always open. You just didn't see the key. I think that's a lovely quote that you have. That really sums up a lot of your experience as well, doesn't it, in America?
Um, I don't think I don't think I was aware of the door being open. I think I had to kick it down a little bit.
There was no key. You just had to break it down.
I had to break it down.
But Pinky's character is really beautifully and soulfully told in the movie. It's a little more better than in the book.
It's definitely been developed. Ramin was very clear about the fact that, because the book is written mostly as a voiceover
Yeah.
and it's all his thoughts, that's really difficult to adapt if you don't have a real person to sort of adapt that thought to. So he really required Ashok and Pinky to be developed more than it was in the book. I mean, this is me speaking on his behalf because I've heard him say this in other
Right.
interviews. So, but I think like Pinky's character to me was very peculiar. I'll tell you why. And maybe you'll understand this, not everybody does. But so, being an Indian, I understand the complexity of the vortex of poverty. You know, it's not as easy as wanting to get out of it. It's not. But Pinky is an American, and she comes from that very privileged sort of perspective of where she, in that one scene where, she relates with him and says, my parents,
Yeah.
worked in a bodega, and I pulled myself out of my circumstances. You should as well. That's such a fake woke thing to do. When you look at it from outside and say,
Yeah.
I pulled myself out. You had food to eat. You
Yeah.
had shelter. This guy has a family of 17 who don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Right.
It's a very different thing. But I had to, as an actor, become unaware of my awareness and play this character who really genuinely wanted to help. But conveniently, when it was convenient for her, she stepped back. When they blamed her, she didn't do anything about it, right? So it's the complexity of the grays of a human being who's trying really hard to say, I'm woke, I want to be on the right side of everything. I want to treat people with respect. But at the same time, when it was convenient, you took it. And that's the reflection on humanity that I find so interesting in this book, is that no matter how good your intentions are, you're only good till your action.
Yeah.
And that's such a reality for everyone. So it required a, in my head, I had to really be complex about it, which was great fun as an actor.
Which is why you're getting great reviews and a lot of buzz about Best Supporting Actress. Are you nervous?
Oh my gosh, can you even imagine? This is my first like dramatic part. Who wouldn't be excited about that? But
Oh,
I'm not someone, I'm just grateful for the fact that my work is being seen and I'm being spoken about as an artist. It's really something that I want to, go after. And I'm actively looking for and creating work that will give me the opportunity to do that. So I'm just grateful to be, even counted amongst those amazing female performances that we've seen this year.
yeah.
And fingers crossed. If I'm very proud of the movie and also, of the work everyone's done in it. So let's see what the journey of this movie is meant to be.
Yeah, I think it'll be fantastic. Okay, so Priyanka, what's next for you? We know that you're in Matrix. We know that you're in Text for You. What next? Are you coming to India for anything? What are the plans? Tell us briefly.
I just finished Matrix and I just finished Text for You actually during the pandemic. It's
Hmm.
pretty crazy. And I am getting into my Russo Brothers show that I'm doing now for Amazon with Richard Madden. And right now I'm in London and
Super.
I'm training. Yeah. And I'm training for it and stuff at the moment. It's a really cool, sort of futuristic show and part. So I'm very excited about it. But that's going to take me to the end of the year. And after the end of the year, I'm hoping I have a bunch of movies that will be ready by that time that we've been developing. So I have to do those as well. I'm in talks with a couple of my friends in India as well to do a Hindi movie, which I really want to do. But that's like scheduling and stuff is happening. So, there's a lot of work coming up, some really exciting things that I've produced and some really exciting things for myself as well. So it's a cool time. I'm really excited to be bearing the fruit of the investment for the last 10 years.
And I think we're all going to be reading the book and texting you madly about all the things that terrify
You
you.
must text me. You must text me, Kaveri, please.
Okay, so thank you so very much, Priyanka Chopra, for being with us, for talking to us for Unfinished. And again, many congratulations on White Tiger. And if there's anything beyond global domination, I hope you get there.
Oh, thank you so much, Kaveri, for always being a champion. Really, it means a
Thank you.
lot to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.